Hello, dear children. Today we are dealing with a very, very important topic and a very important chapter that needs immediate attention, chapter that talks about the present problems of this earth, and it is one of the chapters in our book Hornbill, and it is titled as The Ailing Planet. Now, as the title suggests, the ailing planet. And what do we mean by the word ailing? It is the diseased planet. Ailing means diseased, ailment. Now, this adjective has been added to our planet because our earth today is facing lots of diseases. It is being diseased, and this is not natural. This degeneration of the earth of our planet is not a natural phenomena. It is man-made. Now we have to give an immediate action to it and find out a treatment. In fact, we found the treatment, but we need to follow it. So there are various diseases that the earth is facing. It is deforestation, it is pollution, greenhouse gas emission, change of climate, globalization, and many other factors of modern life which are wiping out species and damaging the ecosystem at a rate which is unprecedented. Never it has happened ago. This is a chapter written by Nani Palkiwala, who was born to middle-class Parsi parents and suffered from the problem of stammering. He wanted to become a lecturer and was not given this position. So he went out trying to other institutions for extending or for furthering his academic career. Now let us talk about what is Earth. Of course, it is the planet on which we live. It is the world that we know. This is the present abode of humankind, and it is the heaven, it is the hell for us. It is a place which is unique, Now there are certain factors which are causing the environmental degradation of the planet. One is population. The other is pollution. Next are many factors which are causing disturbance in ecosystems and which is further leading to environmental degradation. They are urbanization, logging, mining, and deforestation. Of course, the generation of waste products that is being there on the earth now, and the way we are finding a difficulty to dispose this waste is a big problem that the earth is facing today. Now, how to tackle this problem? The question arises is how we can tackle, how we can deal with this situation. Of course, as you can see in the picture, first and foremost, we need to follow afforestation. We need to plant, we need to make the earth as green as possible. And here I've left a blank slide for all of you because I want you to ponder, I want you to have an insight and think deeply as to what can be the steps that we should undertake today to stop all this problem that the earth, that our planet earth is facing, that is making the earth a diseased planet, a diseased planet. Of course, the solution is we need to follow the 3 R's: reduce, reuse, recycle, and it makes a happier earth. Now furthermore, these 3 R's have been extended through a lot of research and development. It has been extended to 7 R's, and we need to follow these 7 R's of green technology today: reduce, reliable, repair, reuse, recycle resources, and replace. We need to be environmentally conscious. We need to be conscious of the energy resources and the electronics that we are using today. Now let us know what the lesson is all about. It is based upon degrading position of Mother Earth. The present scenario of India is highly deplorable, as a report of Parliament's Estimates Committee highlights. Near catastrophic depletion of India's forest at the rate of 3.7 million acres a year. Remember, this is something that was written many years ago. So the rate has increased today. So we are losing our forest at not just this rate, that is 3.7 million acres a year, but at a much faster rate today. The article The Ailing Planet, the Green Movement's Role, that is the extended title of the chapter, was written by Nani Palkiwala and was published in the newspaper The Indian Express on 24th November 94. This article raised vital issues regarding the degrading environment of the planet and the immediate action that is needed to promote sustainable development. This term is very important. Sustainable development, what it means and what role does it play to to improve the condition of the environment of this earth. We are going to read about this in the chapter. So we need to promote sustainable development, which have become the burning issue of the day. However, despite these efforts of environmentalists and the rapid awareness towards green movement, the success story of depleting the earth is bleak. It is not successful yet. So green movement was started, but it was not successful. The planet is very much heading towards a dangerous stage of depletion, and the immediate need is to promote sustainable development as popularized in 1987 by World Commission, that was the Brandt Commission on Environment and Development. Now here we can see there are the present condition of the earth, where there is no water, no rain, and the soil has become parched and dry, so there can be no vegetation and no life. So earth at such a place cannot become a place of survival for many species. Now the article The Ailing Planet, the Green Movement's Role, begins with the introduction to the green movement, which was initiated not nearly 25 years ago, because this chapter was written, when this chapter was written or published in our book, it was then 25 years ago. Now it is because the green movement was started by the Green Party in New Zealand in 1972, so it's around 45 to 50 years the movement, and since then has not looked back ever since. This is one of the single most important movements that captivated the imagination of the entire human race. The movement has moved ahead since then, and today we have shifted. What are the changes after the green movement? The first change is we have shifted from, there is a change in viewpoint of the people. We've shifted from a superficial view to a view, that is from mechanistic view to a holistic and ecological view of the world. So mechanistic view was a superficial view, it was an artificial view. We have shifted from this view to a holistic and ecological view that takes into account all aspects, including those related to the environment and ecology of the world. Now this movement was launched to sensitize the people towards the need of conserving the planet. Sensitize is to make the people aware, and this movement brought a revolutionary shift in human perceptions. There was a paradigm shift from a mechanistic view to a holistic and ecological view, because this view considers earth as a living being whose right to existence must be respected and protected. It has given a place to this realization in the mind of the people that earth is very much like a living organism, And we need to take this initiative to prevent environmental degradation. Now let us know about the main biological systems of this earth. What are the biological systems? There are four principal biological systems. The first one is, of course, fisheries, then the forest, grasslands, and croplands. All these four biological systems, form the basis, form the foundation of the global economic system, because they provide all the raw material for the industry except minerals and petroleum derived synthesis. So they are very, very important biological systems that the earth has. Now, as you can read, four biological systems referred by Mr. Lester R. Brown in his book The Golden Economic Prospect, namely fisheries, forests, grasslands, and croplands. They form the foundation of the global economic system. Apart from supplying food, the four systems provide virtually all the raw materials for industry except minerals and petroleum derived synthetics. Now, the problem that we are facing today is because humans have claimed a control on these systems, and this control is reaching an unsustainable level. And this control is leading to the earth behaving like a patient. The earth has begun to show such symptoms of failing health. And what all has been the result of the human control over these systems, because the humans have controlled the fisheries. Fisheries is, of course, raising the fish, the aquaculture that we follow for the purpose of survival, for the purpose of employment, for the purpose of job by some people. So raising fish and culturing the fish, aquaculture. So productivity is being impaired. The productivity is being impaired. Impaired means it is being destroyed. Fisheries are collapsing and forests are disappearing. Grasslands are being converted into barren wastelands. Croplands are deteriorating. That's a very important question, What is the result of human claim on the systems, on the principal biological systems? So all the first 4 points can be your answer. Now, overfishing, which is common in protein conscious and protein hungry world, because of this, fisheries are collapsing. Forests are being decimated in poor countries for firewood. We need firewood even for cooking food. And that is why there is this saying, and there's this very important line in the chapter: what goes under the pot now costs more than what goes inside it. Because the cost of the food that is being cooked inside the pot is much lesser than the cost of the fuel that is being used to cook the food. We are facing deforestation at such a tremendous rate, and because we are leading to deforestation at such a rate, so what happens is there is a tremendous rise in the prices of timber and firewood. So in most of the tropical countries, the firewood is used for cooking purposes, and the price of the fuel is skyrocketing. So much so that it is being strongly felt that the fuel that is burned to cook food is more expensive than the food which is cooked for consumption by the human beings. So that is why we are facing a lot of problem because of the disappearing forests. Several species of life face extinction as a result of destruction of tropical forests. World's ancient patrimony of tropical forest eroding at the rate of 40 to 50 million acres a year. Now remember, time and again I'm telling you that these data These, the data that has been given in the chapter is of the time when the chapter was published in the newspaper, when this article was published in the newspaper, when the chapter was there included in your books to be read by the students. Now, all this data has changed tremendously. Lots of things, lots of, increase has been there in every term that you're going to read. Now, human claims on the four main or four principal biological systems is leading Earth to look like this. Are we ready to face the Earth like this? Think about it. The present condition is there, is shown in this picture, where the dead fishes, because of whatever is going into the oceans and the seas and in the other river bodies, whatever e-waste, polythenes, plastic, whatever, it's leading to death of the marine life, of the aquatic life, dead fishes in the seashore. Another important thing is growing use of dung for burning, depriving farmlands of an important natural fertilizer. And it has led to a fivefold increase in the rate of forest planting needed to cope with expected fuel wood demand in the year 2000. See, I'm telling you time and again, the year 2000 is yet to come as per the article written. We are in 2020 already, so 20 years ahead. So if it was a fivefold increase expected in 2000, just imagine what this increase could be, what this rate could be 20 years ahead, and today 2020, and what it could be say 10 years after in 2030. James Speth, the president of the World Resources Institute, declared that we are losing the forest at an acre and a half to a second. And again, I would say this is a data that is obsolete. I wish you could find out for yourself what this rate is now. At what rate we are losing the forest. Is it still an acre and a half in a second, or much more than that? I'm stopping myself from telling you this because I want you to do it yourself. I want you to have this curiosity and this anxiety as to what we are really heading towards, what deplorable condition we are now in, and what we are heading towards. Now, there are, of course, many ways that the government has also tried to to stop whatever the problems, whatever the things that are deteriorating the condition of the planet. Constitutional and legal action, but all of this is just a farce. It is just something that can be made fun of because they are never followed. Now, Article 48 of the Constitution provides, it writes, for the state to protect and improve and conserve forest, the spelling here is wrong, and conserve forest and wildlife, but the truth is quite contrary. Laws, unfortunately, are neither respected nor enforced in India. There have been, many laws against many other problems that we people face: casteism, untouchability, bonded labor. Now, even after so many years of the functioning of the Constitution, these social evils are still very much existing in the society. And recently it has been there in the Parliament, Parliament's Estimates Committee highlighted the disastrous exhaustion of India's forest over the last, I would say 6 decades. And it stated that India is losing its forest at a tremendous rate. And it is just on pages, it is just in records. The actual loss of forest is likely to be, say, around 10 to 12 times more than what is there on record. It is reported by United Nations. They researched using satellites and aerial photography. They studied the environment in 88 countries. It was a 3-year study, and they reported that the environment was critical in many of these countries. So, present scenario that is there on our planet is highly deplorable. This is what I have already discussed. The last point here: growth of world population jeopardizing the future of human society. Growing population, it is one of the strongest factors changing the future of human society. In 1800, the population was merely 1 billion. Another billion was added to it by 1900. By the 20th century, the population increased by another 3.7 billion. The present world population is estimated at, I don't know, when this article was written, it was 5.7 billion. What it would be now, what the figure would be today, is beyond our imagination. Every 4 days, it is estimated the world population increases by 1 million. So, the present condition, forest trees being destroyed. And who is responsible for all this? It is the man, the most dangerous animal of this world. Until man came onto this earth, it was all fine. But human beings destroyed forest land, turning it into deserts. Human beings started using natural resources in such a manner that there has been no sustainable development for these resources. We are not thinking about future generation. We're not thinking about our children who are yet to use these forests, these trees, these natural resources. So even according to the article written in the zoo at Lusaka, Zambia, there is a cage with a notice, the world's most dangerous animal. And inside the cage, what is there? It is a mirror where you see yourself. Various organizations in different countries helped in creating the awareness in human beings that they should not exploit the planet mindlessly. They should be conscious, they should be aware when they are using any kind of resources. And that is why human beings have realized finally the wisdom of shifting from a system based on domination to one based on partnership. They have realized that they are not here to dominate. In fact, they are here as partners to many species who are there on this earth. They are also to use the resources and the things that are being solely used by the man. Man is considered the world's most dangerous animal. There are about 1.4 million living species that have been listed on this earth. But actually, according to the biologist, there are about 3 to 400 million who are 3 to 100 million who are still unknown. They are not there in any list. So the man has realized that we are here not to we are here not to dominate. We are not here not to control on the principal resources that we have on the earth, but our system, it is not based on domination but based on partnership. And we will have to be aware, not only aware, but we will have to be we will have to follow this concept. Now we've discussed all the problems, but what is the solution? According to the article by Nani Palkiwala, population control is the only solution to the problem. He says development is the best contraceptive because fertility falls as incomes rise. As people start earning more, they think that they should have uh, you know less number of children, they should have better quality of life. So what is important? Development, education, and furthermore all kinds of factors related to it. Education spreads and health improves, so people need to be educated. No development is possible because there is population explosion. Rich are getting richer and poor beget children condemned to remain poor. They are poverty means poor living standard. Poverty means ignorance, ill health, and hunger. What people do, what poor people do to beat these difficulties, to overcome these odds of life, they tend to produce children, hoping that more working hands will mean more income. And what happens is economic growth suffers. Economic growth suffers because because of excessive population. There is a requirement to check this problem. It is a well-known fact that better educated and better earning couples have fewer children. So economic growth and population growth, they are both contradictory to each other. They are contradictory forces. Economic growth will negate the population growth and vice versa. Each will negate the other. So compulsory sterilization not suggested, but voluntary family planning should be promoted. A choice has to be made between control of population and perpetuation of poverty. Choice has to be made. It is the need of the time. Population control to be given top priority, especially in our country, especially in India. The result of population explosion, there is no place to stand. Do you think our earth is ready to hold our future generation? What to talk about our not just present, even the present generation is like this. It is full, there's no place to keep another foot. Will the earth be able to see and hold the future generation? And Mr. Lester Brown in his book says, we have not inherited this earth from our forefathers, we have borrowed it from our children. We need to understand this concept. According to him, what he's trying to say in this, that our earth is not the absolute property of a single species, that is we, the human beings. We claim it to be ours, but it just not belong to it just not belong to just us. It belongs to many other species as well. We need to understand that we human beings share it with 1.4 million known living species, along with the number of species that have still to be discovered and studied. Our existence too, it is dependent on the safe existence of other species. We need to realize this fact. Other species like plants, like animals, like birds, and even ecosystems. Unfortunately, other species sustain us, but our activities spell disaster for them. The human generations, in fact, in the last around 200 years, have so ruthlessly exploited the natural resources of the planet and destroyed, it has destroyed biomes, that the very existence of life on earth is under a threat now. And we need to very much realize this fact, that we got this world in inheritance from our ancestors. It is our duty that we care for this and keep it as a healthier planet, which really belongs to little children of today. So, the quotation by Mr. Lester Brown, which forms the statement of the question, reminds us, though grimly, it reminds us of our responsibility towards the ecosystem, towards the planet, and towards, the most important, its future generations. This man Mr. Lester Brown. He is the author of The Global Economic Prospect. And so, what is the need of the hour? It is to fulfill our commitment towards the sustenance of the planet Earth, to whom we owe our existence. For we have not inherited it from our forefather, but borrowed it from our children. So we need to sustain it. Let me discuss this concept of sustainable development with you. This concept was popularized by the World Commission on Environment and Development in the year 1987. The report of the Commission defined sustainable development as, listen very carefully, sustainable development is the development that meets the needs of the present without compromising the ability of future generations to meet their needs. In other words, sustainable development means using natural resources in such a manner that enough of these resources will be and should be available to the future generations too, and it should be done without any threat to the planet. This is a very, very important concept of sustainable development. Now let us just go through the summary of the chapter. The Green Movement started nearly 25 years ago. The world's first nationwide Green Party was founded in New Zealand. It is noticed that there is a revolutionary shift in human perceptions from a mechanistic view to a holistic and ecological view. You need to know what is the meaning of this phrase, holistic and ecological view. There is a growing worldwide consciousness that the earth itself is a living organism. So actually this is the meaning I've already discussed with you. The earth is a patient in declining health, and we need to shift. We need to have a shift in our viewpoint towards the earth. We need to realize that the earth is a living organism. It has its own needs and processes. Like a human body has metabolic processes, likewise the earth also, like a living organism, has its processes which need to be respected and preserved. The writer compares the earth with a patient in declining health, but he also says that the earthlings have begun to realize their ethical is moral responsibility, ethical obligation to be good stewards. Stewards are caretakers of the planet, and they need to be responsible trustees, that is, again, they need to take care of the legacy to posterity. The concept of sustainable development was popularized in 1987 by the World Commission in the year 1987. People have become aware of the irresponsible deeds of the fellow human beings. Now we have begun to realize that what we are doing, and they have realized that the man is the world's most dangerous animal in the world. Scientists have catalogued about 1.4 million living species with which mankind shares the earth, and about 3 to 100 million are still unnamed in ignominious darkness. They are still to be researched and listed in the list of living species. The Brandt Commission, the first international commission to deal with the question of ecology, raised this question, and this is a very, very important question. Are we to leave our successors a scorched planet? Scorched means a dry planet, a parched planet of advancing deserts, impoverished landscapes, and ailing environment? Now let us know the meaning of this line. We need to know what Brandt Commission is trying to say. It says, today we are standing at this threshold of the new millennium, where mankind is left with only two choices. Either we face a slow lingering death or a sudden death. As nature and Mother Earth, they have started reacting violently to man's careless, and ruthless destruction of the ecosystem that supports all forms of life. Now, what we've been doing is we've been exploiting the natural resources of this earth to meet our demands, to meet the demands of the present. And what we need to realize, we need to ponder on the bitter and the harsh reality that our unthoughtful and unmindful activities are consistently and continuously causing harm to nature. Instead of forest lands provided by nature, what shall we be passing to our future generations? A wasteland as a legacy we will be giving. The rapid climate changes that have been brought about by global warming and ozone depletion, they have already triggered the panic button. We need to be afraid of this dangerous situation. Climate change is now a hardcore reality, and with global average temperatures rising tremendously, what does it mean? More droughts, melting of glaciers that we are already experiencing, and the extinction of species. So, what is the need of the hour? The need of time? It is to adopt a holistic approach towards economic development. An overall approach, not just one point, but many points in consideration. This economic development should be without destroying the life support system, because it sustains the ecosystem, because it sustains all life forms. Otherwise, if we do not remember, if we do not follow this, Mr. L.K. Jha, he felt it was unfair to leave for our future generations a seared, a scorched, a parched, a dry planet with growing number of deserts, a landscape deprived of nutrients and natural beauty, an environment that would be ailing because of pollution. So we are supposed to take care of this planet as good stewards, as good caretakers, as good trustees. You can take an example, from our life. Suppose you are living on a rented accommodation, the house is not yours. So, is it not our responsibility to be good caretaker of the house? Because it does not belong to us, it is not our property. We become all the more responsible, though we would be, taking care of our property as well. But because it is not our property, it becomes all the more responsibility on our shoulders to be very good caretakers of the place, because we have to pass it on to the person to whom the house belongs, to the landlords. Similarly, likewise, you need to realize that the earth, our planet, is not our place. We have no domination, no control over this. In fact, it is like a rented accommodation that we've taken on leases for some years till we live, and we need to pass it on to the next generation. So we need to be good stewards and caretakers of the planet. And Mr. Brown, as you know, he's talked about the 4 principal biological systems which are the basis of the global economic system. And he says that humans have tried to control these systems to such a level that it has reached an unsustainable level. Overfishing and deforestation are common every day. It has been well said that forests precede mankind and deserts follow. Again, we need to realize what this statement means to say. The so-called development of mankind results in additional burden on the resources of the earth due to industrialization and urbanization. The unthoughtful exploitation of these resources, along with pollution of all kinds, has resulted in what? In the depletion of forest. However, we should realize, as mankind expands, forests disappear. The very same human activities pollute, degenerate, and destroy the ecosystem, and in turn it leads to wastelands, irreversible wastelands, that is deserts. So we can say deserts follow mankind means human developmental activities cause the formation of deserts. It has been observed that India is a nation where laws are never respected nor enforced. So, though there are many laws made in the constitution, as per the law we are supposed to look after the forest land, the planet earth, we need to be punished for certain things, certain wrongdoings of ours, but the laws in India are neither respected nor enforced. We do not respect the laws. Even for small things like wrong driving, we think of bribing the policeman with say just a mere 100 rupees. So this cannot lead to the real kind of enforcement of any law. We should be, we should control ourselves, we should be corruption free, we should be bribe free, we should not be indulging ourselves into such activities which are harming not just the environment, not just the planet earth, but also somewhere we are guilty of the fact that we are not following the laws that have been made by our constitution. I've already discussed this in one of my slides, that a 3-year study was conducted by the UN, and the result was that the environment in around 88 countries that it researched upon was facing a deplorable condition. And what is the reason behind it? What is the problem? What is the main reason, main factor or main cause of this problem? It is the growth of world population, and it is distorting the future of human society. So we've read all this, and the population of India is very much a concern. It is not just estimated to be 920 million. Of course, we know it is much more today. So no one familiar with the conditions in India would doubt that the hope of the people would die in their hungry hutments, in their small houses, small huts that they are living in, unless population control is given the topmost priority. And the modern man really ruminates over the environmental conditions. He only thinks of his own survival. He not only, the modern man is not just thinking of his own survival, but he is thinking of the viewpoint has changed. He is thinking of the planet's survival as well. We have been ushered into the era of responsibility. If we have started realizing that we are very much responsible for the environment of this earth. We have realized our responsibility towards the planet. We have realized that there is a need to conserve the planet, because this is a legacy inherited from our ancestors, and it is a property borrowed from our children. So as caretakers of this property, the responsibility lies on us only, the human beings only, to keep it conserved and protected for the future use. As Margaret Thatcher says, no generation has a free hold on this earth. All we have is a life tendency with a full repairing lease. This statement means to say that there is an urgent need to strike a natural balance in the ecosystems of the world. So this need is being felt strongly than ever before. We the human beings are very cruelly and carelessly and callously and ruthlessly destroying the ecosystems. So this rapid deforestation is creating space for the increasing mouths and has resulted in soil erosion, the degeneration of land resources, and destruction of the climate controlling factors, the depletion of the ozone layer, for example. Ozone layer, it is the nature's umbrella to protect us from the harmful rays, and ozone layer has exposed the planet to grave dangers. The depletion of the ozone layer, grave dangers, serious dangers the earth is experiencing, we human beings are experiencing. We need to realize that we human beings are creating or threatening our own lives with the so-called developments and advancements. We are just running in the rat race with other countries. This country has developed this, that country has developed this. We need to realize the fact that what we are leading to actually our own death. We are threatening our own lives with such things. So the writer here, Margaret Thatcher, means to say that we need to, the man today needs to realize, and has somehow begun to realize, that human beings have an ethical obligation to be good caretakers of the planet. We have realized that we need to follow the concept of sustainable development, and we have also realized that this world belongs to the future generations. So therefore, we, the present generation, must fully understand the implications of the words said by Margaret Thatcher towards safeguarding the planet for our children. It is our paramount duty, to undo or repair the change we have caused to the global environment. So, dear children, the article talks about many moral issues. When the writer talks about unrestricted population growth and its impact on poverty, and talks about deforestation, talks about man's actions or exploitation of natural resources, he talks about many things. I hope you will take care of what you've learned from this chapter. I am also discussing something as an extension to this chapter, some steps to save our ailing planet. We of course need to use the basic 3 R's: reduce, reuse, recycle, and remember the 7 R's of the green movement. And we should do our part to reduce waste by choosing reusable products instead of disposables. So recycle paper, plastic, newspaper, glass and aluminium cans. So that is really needed. Second step to control this disease, the problem that we are facing today, that our earth is facing today, is to use less heat and air conditioning. So of course we know what harm air conditioners are doing to the environment. So I request you to take it as a responsibility on your shoulders to, of course, reduce the use. I cannot ask you to stop using it, because that's of course the need of the time according to the increasing temperature, the global warming, but I can always say, and make our children, make our youth, make our future generation aware of the impact of such problems. So I can request you to just minimize the use of ACs, if not 2, not 3, but minimize the use to just 1 AC per family. And of course the third step can be to drive less and drive smart. So less driving means fewer emissions. We should be following the rule of pooling to our workplaces, and we should be taking certain precautions while driving the car, like checking the air pressure in the tires, etc. So it all leads to us being being responsible citizens of the planet. And we should always follow our duty towards the Mother Earth. We need to protect it, we need to conserve it. We, this generation of ours have to pass it on to you as a legacy, and you have to pass it on further. Remember this. Thank you. Bye.